Good evening and welcome everyone to the women's fourth draw of the 2018 Women's Nova Scotia Provincial Championship Curling, sponsored by Scotties and by Bell 5 TV1. My name's Corey and I'm here with my partner tonight.
My name's Liz. Happy to be here.
We're going to be your commentators for tonight's game between Team Isabel Ladouceur from the Lakeshore Curling Club and Team Colleen Pinkney representing the Mayflower Curling Club.
Yeah, we should have a good game here tonight. Kind of a battle between a veteran and the young guns here, so it'll be interesting to see how this one goes.
Sure will. Both teams have finished their draw to the button. Team Pinkney's just coming back onto the ice there. We'll be underway momentarily.
Yeah, I didn't see who got hammered here, but
looks like they may be a little bit confused as well.
there is a yellow stone set up in front of the hack. So I think that means that Pinkney has the hammer. We will see.
We did mention this is the fourth draw for the women's side. Results from earlier on today and from the rest of the championships. We do have a battle of two of the lower ranking teams right now. So Colleen Pinkney's team is currently sitting at 1 and 2.
Yep.
With Team Ladouceur sitting currently at 0 and 3. So I know in past championships, Liz, we've had issues where if you lose more than 3 games, you're pretty hard pressed to make it into the into the playoffs.
Yeah, you'd be pretty lucky, I would say, to get into a tiebreaker with anything more than 3 losses. 3, most of the time, should hopefully get you into the semifinal or at least a tiebreaker. I don't imagine in many circumstances you'd be out completely with 3 losses. But anything more than that, you're definitely on the hot seat.
Like both teams are out on the ice now, so we should be underway momentarily there.
Oh, and it looks like Ladouceur has the hammer.
Yes, it does. So you're going to notice very quickly here with this game that, unlike most of the other teams, Colleen Pinkney does throw lead stones and then calls the game from the other end. Whereas many of the other teams, with the exception of maybe Colleen Jones's team,
right, they did switch up their lineup this year as well.
But most teams have their skip throwing their last stones and calling the game. A little bit of a switch up on this sheet.
Yeah, it's definitely just a matter of preference. It's a little bit unusual, but whatever works. I think Colleen's just trying to throw up center guard this end, or are they coming in?
I believe they called for it to come in.
Yep.
Maybe try to keep it open on a long play.
Just slides in. Yeah, you'll notice a lot of teams electing to go in the first end of a 10-end game. There's a lot of time to score, and a lot of the times people just kind of want to get a feel for the ice and for the rocks. So they like to play a more open first end.
Does that have anything to do with the time, with the timers as well?
Sure.
Tough questions tonight. I know in any of the timed events I've played in, first couple ends, if you keep them open,
I see.
It does allow for a little bit, almost like a bank time later on, where if you have a couple ends that are a little bit more more junky, more rocks in play.
Right.
You
You don't want to. You don't want to
time.
be playing an uphill battle from the very beginning. I see what you're saying now. I thought you meant the actual timers themselves. So I don't know. They need to get into their own groove too, maybe.
Oh no, they're up here in the cushy seats. They're good.
Colleen's attempting to just come around here. She's going to want to tuck behind that yellow stone in front of the house.
Yeah. Now the key to this, where Ladouceur did nose that front blue stone, their rock is now a guard, so it can't be removed until fifth rock at the end, if they were planning on keeping this end open.
So just to let you know, for Team Ladouceur, tonight we have Elsa Noss throwing lead. They've had a bit of a lineup change, it looks like. And for Team Pinkney, all right, as we mentioned, we do have Colleen Pinkney throwing lead and skipping the game.
We're moving on here to second stone. So with that blue stone sitting right on the button, you'll probably see Colleen try to put up a guard. Make it a little bit harder for Ladouceur to get in there and score her points this end.
This one needs to finish a bit. It looks like their blue stone top four is going to be about half open. So it will be accessible.
Does look like Isabel's going to be playing the run back as opposed to the just a straight hit on that one in the house. Again, trying to get back to maybe keeping it open.
Yeah.
Keeping it simple for the first end or two.
That stone on the top 4 foot is in a very good position to shrink their scoring area to almost nothing. So and she'll just peel that one out.
Now throwing second stones here for Team Pinkney is Caitlin Veach. It's like this is the third year, I believe, for Caitlin and the Bridget. They're third playing with playing together at least. I'm not sure if they were with Colleen last year, but they've been teammates for quite some time.
I'm just going to try to replace that center guard here. Looks like it does need to curl a bit, so they're going to sweep it for as long as they can to try to drag it and get every inch of curl that they can get out of it. And pretty much replaced right into the same spot, although that blue is about 3/4 open now.
Now the decision, do you chase the one in the house or do you play that run back again?
It looks like she thought she was going to try the run back, but that's pretty tempting there. It's almost wide open. So here we are throwing second stones for Team Ladouceur is Michaela Harnish. This is very close. Ooh, just by the guard. Good throw. Colleen Pinkney's still in pretty good position this end here with that center guard up. She's just going to try to remove this yellow stone and roll behind, and I think she should still be above the tee line.
That's key for most of these shots. Keeping your stones above the tee line puts you in a pretty good position. anything behind the tee line can be used by the other team, and that's definitely not what you want, especially in the first or second end. If you get behind by a couple,
Right.
and you start chasing.
She just rolled away there. I think she called the inside roll to get behind the guard, but a roll away is really not bad at all. Isabel can't use that to roll behind that center and do anything useful with it, really. So it being the first end, Colleen doesn't really have a choice other than to remove the stone. Maybe later in the game, depending on the score, you might elect to just come around your center guard if you really needed to steal a point, but being the first end in a 10-end game, 0-0, you just want to be on defense, I would say.
Yeah, I would say so as well. And throwing there for Team Pinkney is Bridget McPhail. Been currently for many years. I know Bridget personally. She does make the hit, but she rolls in behind the tee line. So we were talking earlier about keeping those stones above tee, making them not useful for your other team, because it does give Isabel a chance to hit and stay behind tee if she'd like, or potentially freeze to it and
Right.
put some pressure on Colleen.
And that is the reason that stones behind the tee line are useful to your opponent, is that they can come down to it and be closer than your stone to the center of the rings. Whereas if you're above the tee line and you freeze to that stone and come right to the face of it, your opponent's stone will still be closer to the center. Was she trying to stick around there? I would assume so. Just a little bit wide. The ice is quite straight on the outside of the rings. So you definitely have to be careful with your weight selection. You don't want to throw too much or it won't move at all. Moving on to skip stones now. That was Mary Driscoll throwing skip stones for Team Colleen Pinkney.
This does give Team Pinkney a really good opportunity to get behind that center guard and try to force Team Ladouceur to actually take a point in this end, which would be a big victory for Pinkney in the first end here.
Absolutely. So that one just didn't curl like they thought it was going to.
It does leave a chance for Isabel to hit and flop in behind that guard and try to set up her 2 points here.
Yeah, this has been interesting with that center guard up the whole end, but it doesn't seem like either team has really been able to capitalize on using it to their advantage. So this is Isabelle Ladouceur with her first stone of the first end.
Isabel is left-handed as well, so you may see a little bit of different movement in her rocks based on just coming from the other side of the ice when she's throwing. Different ice, different release.
Yep. I don't think I've ever played with a lefty myself.
Another chance here for Mary to hit this and flop over and behind that guard.
You can see the sweepers waving their arms with an upward direction. I think they're trying to say that she threw a little bit more weight than they had called, which will mean the rock isn't quite going to curl like they hoped, and she'll just nose it.
So we'll have a blank attempt here from Isabel. I know from my past curling experience, blanks for me are the hardest shot to throw. sometimes get in my own head, and my main focus is obviously to hit the
straight
rock.
ice.
But
especially on straight ice, when you're throwing a lot of weight at it, if you get outside of the broom at all, it's not going to come back. Here we go, final stone of the first end. Seem to be on and off it, so it should be pretty good. And she'll make it. Good throw there.
So with that, Team Ladouceur does take hammer back into the second end. Keep that advantage.
Ideally, yeah, you do want to have hammer in the even ends of a game. It is a 10-end game, though, and it is pretty hard to keep hammer in the even ends consistently throughout. But for now, they do have that advantage.
For anyone at home right now, you do also have the option to come watch this live if you do so see fit. So we're over at the Dartmouth Curling Club, just across the old bridge in Dartmouth, and it's $5 a game to get in if you just want to come watch a specific team for one game, or you can buy tournament passes for $30, and that does get you into both the men's and women's events.
Yep, all the playoff draws as well. The atmosphere is sizzling, I must say. So we have Colleen here just putting up another center guard to start off the end. Team Ladouceur will not be able to remove that stone. So they're going to elect to come around it and try to get into the forefoot first.
Sun does look like it's already shaping up to have more rocks in play than the last did. So
got that one clean end out of the way.
Both teams must feel fairly confident with the ice, and they're willing to put some more rocks in play and try to score those extra points.
Just to update you on the other sheets, Arsenault scored 2 in the first end against Jones. McAvoy scored 1 in the first end against McDermott, and Green scored 1 in the first end against Brothers. So she had great weight on that shot. It just, once again, didn't quite curl like they hoped, so that'll be pretty open here for Colleen to try to hit and flop behind that guard. So there's a bit of discussion going on here. I think Colleen and Mary are just trying to get on the same page with exactly what they want out of this shot.
I think one was hoping for the flop in behind, and one was
hoping
trying
for
to
the
roll away.
And that is just a difference in strategy. There isn't necessarily a right or wrong answer there. They're really sweeping this one hard. Oh, and it just gets by the guard, but she will flop a little bit too far.
That stone is almost fully open again for Ladouceur, so she should have, again, the two options: flop in behind that guard, although it is a Pinkney guard, or roll to the outside and pull play away from the middle.
Right. As a team with hammer, you usually do want to try to keep play around the wings, give yourself an opportunity to score 2, and if things don't work out for you in the end, to give yourself an opportunity to draw to the forefoot for your single point if it comes down to it. This one is curling a bit. I'm not sure they're going to get by this guard.
Ooh,
and
sweep.
they just barely do.
And a half decent roll in behind, so it's not fully open anymore. You're probably going to see about maybe just over half of that stone.
They definitely will be flirting with this guard if they want to try to remove this stone. They may just elect to try to tap it to the back of the house, which, based on where Colleen has the broom, I think that's what they're going to try to do.
I would say so as well. Freezer, a little tap. This one is curling a lot on them in comparison
Looks
to
like
the
it
other.
might be a little bit light. Rock will curl more if you don't quite have the weight that you want. This is a big advantage for Isabel here. She's sitting one on the forefoot. There's staggered center guards, which makes it's pretty hard to remove both of those with one shot and not really leave something there. I mean, you could throw the double peel. It's not necessarily a difficult double peel, but it is still a double peel.
But based on the way they're lined up, they're not going to come back into the house at anything that's in the forefoot, which is why you're going to see Isabel try to get another one around there and force Colleen to start chasing her this end.
If she does sink a good one here, I think they might have to try to peel, but we'll see what they decide. Weight's looking pretty good on this one. Sweepers seem to like it. It's coming in nicely, but they need to be careful not to leave it double.
It's in a pretty good spot to eliminate any double attempt.
They are staggered. There's nothing wide open for Colleen to try to work with. She's gonna have to show some skill and touch shots here.
Now the one downside to the rock that was just thrown is it is a little deeper than they probably would have liked. Because if Colleen is able to tap the one on the button back, they're going to start creating a little wall there, and it's going to make it harder to remove any blue stones that are thrown from the Pinkney team.
Looks like they're going to get the back one. They didn't quite get enough of it. So it looks like Isabel Ladouceur is going to have a chance here to sit three with hammer.
I think both teams on their last shots just got stuck in a straighter path.
Straight spot, yeah. I've seen just from what I'm watching that it seems to swing a lot across the center line of the sheet and be a little bit straighter outside near the edges of the forefoot. Especially coming into a new game, it sometimes just takes a couple ends to really trust where to put the broom and figure out the intricacies of the ice.
It looks like they've elected to just hit the open blue instead of putting another one in at the top of the 8-foot there. Mission accomplished, though. They are lying three.
Yeah, pressure's on here for Team Pinkney. Looks like they're deciding to try to freeze that rock in the top four, which would outcount both the Ladouceur stones in the back of the house. But if this isn't perfect, Ladouceur is going to have just another hit to sit a lot, yeah. Pressure's definitely on here. They seem to like the weight. I think they're calling 8-9 though, which would be back of the house.
And again, that straight spot is just not finishing for them there.
Oof. Did it hang on? No, it didn't. Okay, so
this is a golden opportunity for Isabel's team to get that fourth one in there and put it in a really good spot.
Colleen's team has 3 stones left here. We're gonna have to start consider bailing out somewhat, I think, depending on where this stone ends up. Sweeper body language tells me this might be a little bit heavy. They just don't want to leave a double on those top 2. They just need to be a little deeper, and they will be. And I'd say that's about a quarter tuck, so it's definitely not wide open. They have given Team Pinkney an out, though. If they can freeze onto that stone, they'll be sitting one, and it will be tough to remove.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Liz, but if there's any tap on this stone, does it give Isabel's team a chance to remove that with an upweight hit and still lie their points?
Absolutely, which this ice is a little bit straight, so that's not always easy to throw an upweight shot, and they haven't thrown a lot of upweight either. But, yeah, you want to be perfectly frozen on this stone and not give them a chance. Sweepers are really pushing for this one. They really got to get it into the house. You really just got to outcarry a couple of those stones, but they're not going to get there.
It's such a tough way to miss that shot.
Yeah.
You can't be heavy, but you also need to be outcounting one of those stones.
That stone is at least usable. They can run it back. It's getting to be do or die time, but that is going to be an option for them.
I do think Isabel's actually called for the guard on that, knowing that it is a usable stone. It's in a very good spot for Colleen. See if this takes away take away Colleen's run.
Yep, it looks to be pretty good. She's not going to have that option anymore.
Yeah.
The stone is about half open, but not nearly enough to get a good run on that. So Colleen doesn't really have a lot of options other than to try to sink one on the intern side into the 4-foot around those staggered blue center guards. Mary's got to be feeling the pressure here. She's really got to make one of these or...
team's in some trouble.
Yeah. Looks like the sweeper's got to go for weight. Really got to get it there. It's curling. It's curling. Oh, boy.
Again, that is sort of, if it's going to be a plan B for Colleen, it is still in front of the house and usable, but I think you're going to see Isabel with that same strategy, take away the shot that was just thrown by Mary there.
Yeah, it looks to me, as long as they make this guard, that Colleen's going to have to make some sort of draw out to the wings of the sheet, which it's pretty early in the game. There hasn't been a lot of play out further than the 4-foot, which means sometimes the ice hasn't been broken down yet, and it can be a little bit slower out there.
Slower and curl a little bit more, which could catch them off guard for sure.
Yeah. So here's Isabel's last stone. Oh, first stone, sorry.
On her hand, she didn't look overly happy with that.
No, it seemed like it almost looked like she tried to get rid of a pick or something, but that should do the trick.
I think so. I think they're
gonna try this tap here on these two blue stones, which is definitely an option. At this point, I would say Team Pinkney is just trying to cut them down. They're just trying to mitigate giving up a 5-ender. As long as they can get something in the 8-foot, this really isn't going to be that bad. Even if they give up a 3, it's only the second end in a long, long 10-end game.
Based on how this end shaped up for them, I'd much rather give up 3 than 5.
Yeah, this has been a little bit messy for them. And I think a 3 at this point, while not ideal, would probably be a bit of a victory. Sweepers are calling backline weight, so that should be pretty close.
Especially where they're going to be moving 2 stones.
You're moving 2 stones. So, they really got to go. So they will cut them down for sure. Isabel is going to have a draw to the 4-foot to score 3. But as I said earlier, this is going to be a little bit wider out than anything else that we've seen in this game. and they might get caught on some slow ice.
It's going to be a little bit of a guess for her on weight and really where to put the broom. Because all the stones so far, outside of a couple hits, have been inside that 4-foot line.
They really only need to catch an inch of the edge of the 4 foot. It's definitely makeable.
Quick conference for their sweepers. Their input on the weight. See if they have a best guess at this point as to what she should be throwing. And
yeah. So here we go. Final stone of the second end. Need to catch the edge of the 4 foot for 3 points. Sweepers are really, really going on it.
Looks like it's curling hard already.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that was just that slow ice on the edge.
But for Team Ladouceur, they do pick up their 2 points.
A little bit of a dodge bullet there for Team Pinkney for sure.
Absolutely.
They'll be absolutely happy to give up a 2 there. Good, exciting end. Lots of rocks in play.
So at this point, Liz, what would you say Team Pinkney's strategy will be going into the third end?
Oh, maybe try to keep things a little bit more open. I did just get a viewer question through text asking about peeling earlier in that end. Definitely an option. I did mention at one point there that they might try to bail out, but they thought that they could get the draw in there, and it unfortunately didn't work out for them. They did get away with it, giving up only 2, but in the future, I would definitely try to peel earlier.
Yeah, I think once Isabel was lying 3, I would have tried to get out of that end. Maybe make the double peel. Isabel's obviously going to try to replace one of those guards, and then at that point you might have a shot.
Yeah.
Maybe a double.
And that double
to start
peel,
limiting.
Those rocks were lined up pretty nicely for the double. But as I said earlier, that's just a matter of preference. Some teams would rather play more of a draw game.
It's all what you're comfortable with. And I know I've watched Colleen Pinkney for a few years now. She's been around the scene for quite some time. Mm-hmm. I found in previous years she does tend to lean towards the draws. She's a softer touch. Not really a hitting team in previous years.
Yes. For those that don't know, Colleen Pinkney is a bit of a Nova Scotia superstar. She skips a senior team. They won the World Championship, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. Maybe not quite that recently. In 2010, they won the World Gold. And they also got a World Bronze medal in 2014. So she has a lot of experience.
It's like right straight across her roster. Most of them have curled for 10 plus years anyway, so they're definitely, even though most people may not recognize some of the names on either of these teams, both of them do have an extensive curling background.
Absolutely.
Now on Ladouceur's side, she is the first team in Nova Scotia history, I believe, to qualify for the Scotties as a junior team. These girls aren't even women's technically age. They still play in the junior bracket.
Yeah, I believe they're all under 18, 17 and 18 years of age. And although they are 0-3 right now, they've been in some very close games. I don't think that there's been any blowouts. They've really been holding their own here.
It's going to be a huge confidence boost for them. Even though this season may be coming to a close after this, like this is sort of the pinnacle for all of the men's and women's competitive teams, but it would definitely give them a boost going into next year, especially if some of them are staying in the junior bracket.
Yep, absolutely. Colleen just made a nice down weight hit to remove that yellow stone, but she will be sitting back 4 foot behind the tee line. Isabel will have a good chance here to freeze on that stone and lie shot.
Just another quick update from the other sheets in play here. So in the second end, Colleen Jones did pick up her deuce and even the score with Marianne Arsenault. Looks like score's not posted on sheet D yet, so we're not quite sure what happened between McDermott and McAvoy quite yet. But on sheet E, looks like Teresa Breen did give up 2 points. So Jill Brothers does have the advantage. Is up 2-1 going into the third end against Teresa right now.
This end seems to be setting up quite nicely here for Team Pinkney. They're sitting 2 and throwing. And if she can get a nice flop off this yellow stone towards the center line, she will be guarding both the stones in the house. I don't think she'll throw a lot of weight at this.
I don't think so either. And coming back to that viewer question, if this shot's made perfectly, I think this would be the moment where, for Isabel, where you're up 2, at this point I'd be starting to
absolutely
at least run that yellow back and try to move some of the blue stones out of the house.
Yeah, you got to recognize when you're in trouble and when you might want to bail. Worth mentioning that had it been later in the game, Team Pinkney may have elected to peel, but they might have just thought we'll go for it, and if we get in trouble, we have a lot of time to make up for it. So luckily for Isabel, Colleen Pinkney team stone did roll a little bit too far. So she will have a chance at a double here. Looks close. Just got to curl a bit. And she didn't quite remove both, but that's a pretty good effort. And it definitely opens up the house a little bit more for her.
The key there for her is her shooter did stay. Now, it may not come in play, but it's something that Colleen's going to have to think about later on if a run back double is made, or even some form of a play on that blue that's at the top of the house.
Yep, those biters can really come back to bite you. Couldn't help it. I couldn't resist. But really, you cannot be really thinking about them all end, and then all of a sudden they come into play, and you wish you had dealt with them.
Terrible curling jokes, Liz. I'm sorry.
Couldn't resist. Here we have Caitlin Veach. She's just drawing to the open side here. As a team with Hammer, they want to draw play to the wings of the sheet.
And keep as much separation between those rocks as possible.
Yeah. You don't want to leave any opportunities for your opponent to double your stones. And with that center guard here, there really aren't any doubles open. Maybe a long crosshouse double, but I can't tell right now, but I don't think that's there. Is the peel an option here?
I would say so. Even if you try the run, the run straight back, and you miss it and you peel that guard off, it still opens it up and gives you a chance to have some form of a double. Try to limit Colleen from scoring.
I think, you got to give yourself a chance on a double on that top 8-foot centerline blue stone. But same thing, if they can just keep hitting and get a flop onto the 4-foot, even though it'll be behind the tee line, it would be out-counting Pinkney's stone, so Isabel might just hope for that to be enough. We have Bridget McPhail's first stone. I think they're just trying to nose hit or maybe flop a little bit to the outside of the rings.
Just does make the hit, stays right there, and gives Isabel another chance at this hit and roll in behind.
So they did put up the score on sheet D. McDermott did manage to score 1, so that one's all tied up. McAvoy with the hammer. She's not gonna get that flop inside, and she will roll too far.
This is a golden opportunity again for Colleen. Get one in a really good spot, or even split the house. Like, get a third rock in there, count 3, and then see what Ladouceur is going to do to try to cut her down.
Yep, and if you can use that that Ladouceur yellow stone on the edge of the rings, top 12. You can kind of use that as a bit of a guard for yourself. Hopefully get half tucked around there so Isabel won't have an open hit. This one's looking a little hot to me. It's curling nicely though. Isabel here getting ready to sweep. For those that don't know, you are allowed to sweep your opponent's stones behind the tee line in the house. Not quite sure if she got that one far enough for her yellow to outcount there.
I think it did slide just too far.
Yeah, it looks like that to me as well. The angle on the camera is a little tough, but I do think that Pinkney is only lying 2 currently.
It's a big missed opportunity for her.
Yeah.
I think Bridget would want that one back for sure.
I have heard from a lot of the curlers here this week that the ice is very fast. It's easy to give it a tiny bit more on release even and have it slide 3 or 4 feet further than you intended. So here's Isabel's first stone in the third end. Gonna try to roll it behind this center guard here. Not
Pretty good attempt on that shot.
That was a very long roll. It's a tough one, and they almost had it. Just needed to let that curl a touch more. Colleen's going to elect to hit this one. I think she just called board weight. And she's going to try to roll away to the outside of the rings once again to make it tougher for Isabel to hit it and roll behind that center guard.
And the takeaway from that was, why would you not want to roll in behind that guard?
If you're rolling behind that guard, Isabel's going to have not an easy draw, but she has the option to then just draw to the forefoot, use your stone kind of as a wall to come down to and to sit shot. And if she's sitting perfectly on top of your stone, back forefoot, that's going to make it very hard to remove, and you're going to really shrink the scoring area for yourself almost to just the button. That's what it's all about when you have hammer, is trying to keep the scoring area as large as possible. So, yeah, the tables have turned here a little bit since the last end.
I think by Ladouceur having that pressure on Colleen in the last end, it might have lit a little fire under their butts to try to put some shots together here and return the favor with that pressure.
Yep, they do. I'm sure they realize they got away with one there, and they're going to bring the focus up a little more, and they have. This one's taken off a bit. They might get the roll, though.
Just heads a little bit too far for them, so it will leave Colleen with a draw to the 8-foot for her deuce. For Mary, sorry. Team Pinkney.
She's got lots of space here. She doesn't have to try to navigate really any guard. She shouldn't come close to that center guard. So she'll take extra ice to ensure that those don't come into play. This is a purely weight shot, really. Here we go, Mary Driscoll, final stone of the third end. Sweepers are on it, but seem to like it.
It's always a good sign as a thrower. Gives you a little bit of confidence knowing that,
Absolutely.
that they haven't completely fallen away from that rock and sort of left it to its own.
There we go, perfect T-line weight. Looks like Mary knows her draws.
So with that, Ladouceur will get her hammer back. Coming up into the fourth here, she does keep hammering those even ends like we had talked about. So if they were to trade points right to the end, she would have that advantage coming home in the 10th.
Just between ends here to give you a couple more updates on sheet B. Arsenault scored 1 with hammer against Team Jones, so they'll be up 1 in the fourth end. And on sheet E, Brothers stole 1 on Team Breen, so they are up 3-1. Breen has hammer over there.
Anyone who's joining us here in the fourth end, we're at draw 4 of the 2018 Nova Scotia Women's Provincial Curling Championship, sponsored by Scotties. You're watching us here on our partner, Bell 5 TV1. I'm Corey, and I'm here with tonight.
Hello.
Multiple personalities here.
This is Colleen Pinkney here with the first stone of the fourth end. Just trying to put up a center guard.
This game so far has had a fair number of rocks in play, which is good. It definitely makes the ends a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
It does wear down on that time a little bit when it comes to getting into the later end, so we may want to keep an eye on that moving forward. It does look like Team Ladouceur is a little bit less time than
Slightly
Colleen
low.
Pinkney does.
Each team does also get 2 timeouts per game, which I believe is a 90-second timeout. Their coach can come out on the sheet at time as well if they desire. And neither team has used either of those, so that will be an option for them later. Colleen is just going to try to throw the in-turn draw here around those center guards. This is a good opportunity for them as a team without hammer to have 2 center guards to start the end.
There's a couple saviors here for Team Ladouceur right now. Well, it's still a little bit early in the end, so we do have several rocks still to come. But the big one for them right now is that those guards are not staggered. There's no overlap between them. So if they need to access their yellow and use that, promote it into the house, they can do that. It looks like she's just opting to draw around, try to outdraw the stone that Pinkney's team just placed in the house.
The weight looks close on this. They're going to come up a little bit light, but it's a top 8 stone, which absolutely might come into play later.
It still has half open as well, so it's accessible if they do decide to tap it.
You don't need to worry necessarily about shot stone this early in the end. This is Caitlin Beach with her first stone. Sweepers calling 8-9, which would be back 8 weight, which might be a little heavier than they had hoped for, but
Line seems to be pretty good.
just got to be careful. Looks like they have left a double here for Team Ladouceur. And it's a pretty natural double with those angles. As long as you can hit that top blue stone, the inside of that top blue stone first, it should redirect quite naturally onto the stone on the forefoot.
Now, is the turn they chose to use, is this more conducive to the shot that they're playing, or could they have used the other turn based on where these rocks are sitting?
Yep, they could have easily. Ooh, she'll just hit the outside of that stone. The turn that you choose and the way that the rock is rotating when it makes contact will affect the steepness of the roll. I don't know the word. But I think that double was quite natural, so they could have used either turn. It does look like that it is curling more towards the edge of the sheet. So that might be something to keep in mind later on for a double like that. They did choose to throw outside in, and it did curl a little bit more than they hoped. So Caitlin is going to come deep here on her stone, and it will fall to the back 12. So they aren't going to outcount that Ladouceur stone. Top 8. And it looks like she's going to try the double peel, I think is what she's calling. On those broom movements.
I think so too. She must not like where these rocks are ending up for Colleen collecting in the back there, especially with her having hammer.
There's a little bit of danger here, though. If she doesn't quite curl enough, she could redirect her own to the house, and that's a good result for them.
Very good result for her.
That was a nicely thrown rock. Although that did stay outside or in front of the house. It is off to the wings.
So even with Colleen making a play at the one at the top of the 8-foot here, I think you'll see Isabel either play a hit and roll in behind the corner that was just thrown, or try to draw over there to get something in where all of Colleen's stones are now open.
Colleen's stones are currently grouped quite nicely for Ladouceur to try to get some some doubles going here. These two center of the rings it's quite a natural double. It's really just a nose hit, and you would get both. So that will definitely be an option for her later in the end if she can start getting some rocks going around the wings. Looks like she's going to hit and roll here, though.
And try to bring that corner into play for her. Can't really see it from the camera angle just of the house, but there is a yellow stone above the Deloitte logo. You can see it there as that stone comes up the ice. I think they're trying to bring that into play and find a way to score 2 points here and take that advantage.
An option there was also to roll in front of that blue stone of Colleen's and hope that when Team Pinkney is trying to remove that they might jam on that back stone, which would mean that instead of removing it from the rings and missing everything completely, they would knock the yellow directly into their blue, and it would remain in the house. Sweepers are on this one early. Got some big yells coming from the team. So she did remove a stone, but she rolled into a spot that makes it very easy for Isabel's team to double those stones out.
Did remove her other blue sitting at the back of the hose, so if the Ladouceur team is able to make this double, the pressure that Colleen had been building for the majority of this end is gone.
That's a nice shot. She'll stick in the rings as well, forcing Colleen to address that stone. So here's Mary Driscoll with her first stone of the fourth end. That's a good hit and roll by Mary. She's trying to draw that stone into a different place, maybe make Isabel throw down a path that she might not be super familiar with. You don't necessarily want to give your opponent the exact same shot twice in a row. So even just moving that stone's position by a couple feet can make a difference with line calls and where to put the broom.
Now when you're trying to position those stones, Liz, do you think by pulling it to the center, she's trying to get it in a better spot for her if Isabel does have to try to blank this end again?
Yes, absolutely. You want any stone that is involved in a blank attempt to be near the center so that if they do happen to hit more of the stone than they intended to, it has further to roll to get outside of the house. If you have a stone on edge of the 12-foot for a blank, you really only have to roll a foot.
It's kind of like less of a margin of error.
Right, exactly.
Last stone for Team Pinkney here.
I think they're going to try to roll behind this corner guard here to maybe take the blank out of play.
Looks like to be curling up on them, so
yeah, it's going to over curl a bit. So we will have another blank attempt here by Isabel.
Last stone to the fourth end on its way here from Isabel. Looking for this blank.
Sweepers are on it all the way down the sheet, and they'll just clean it. Looks like she's got another blank in her pocket. She's thrown those well.
Both teams are taking a couple extra seconds here. Looks like they're a bit more strategy.
Yeah, we're getting to the midway point in this game. So strategy might start to change a little bit. They might decide to get a little bit more aggressive. Since Isabel Ladouceur just blanked, they now have hammer in the uneven ends, which becomes a little bit more important in the second half.
If you were Pinkney's team right now, would you be trying to force Ladouceur to take her single?
Yes. You would love to retain hammer in 6, 8, and 10. You give yourself an advantage that way. In the second half of the game, you would have 3 ends with hammer, where you would hopefully score in all 3, whereas Team Ladouceur would only have 2 opportunities to score with hammer. Colleen Pinkney throwing up another center guard here, I believe. It's going to be close. I do think it stopped in time. Yeah.
Doesn't look like Isabel has called for them to draw into the open side. Kind of an unorthodox call, unless she is trying to set up for another blank here. See if she can pull Colleen into hitting that stone.
That's definitely an option. I'm sure she would love to have hammer in the even ends in the second half of the game. She will just sit top 12, so this will give an opportunity for Team Pinkney to hit that and roll behind their center guard. It's calling Pinkney's second stone. Doesn't look like they're going to get the roll here. They are in the house. So Isabel will try to remove that stone and flop into the rings. The stone seems to be tracking a little bit wide. So I don't believe she's going to end up in the rings here. Nope. And she's going to roll out of play. This is a big opportunity for Colleen to come around that center guard and sit buried on the top 4 foot.
So I know some people watching at home may be a little bit confused as to why on some of these shots only one sweeper is actually in front of the rock. Liz, can you put shed a little light?
Yeah, I can. So this is what we're going to call directional sweeping. It's a little bit of in the last couple of years, I would say 2 years, this has kind of been a new development in the curling world. Depending on which sweeper you have closest to the rock is going to determine if the rock is going to curl more or less. That's a tough one to explain in more detail than that.
That's fair. That is a newer concept to curling, is it not? Like the last couple of years, some of the more competitive teams have brought that in.
Yep, there's been a little bit of drama in the curling world with sweeping lately. Lots of changes to the fabric on broom heads because of the effect that was having on sweepers. I remember the words joystick brooms because a lot of the teams thought that certain fabrics made it too easy to control the stone.
Taking away from the finesse of the game.
Yes. It was getting to a point where some of the fabrics were so abrasive that you could, if you threw your stone too and it was going to over curl, you could sweep it and move it backwards several inches, which was teams did not like that, and the World Curling Federation came in and banned those fabrics. Directional sweeping, however, still remains a strategy that most teams use. I sometimes like to think back to before people realized directional sweeping could help, to all the stones that may have been affected by having the wrong sweeper on the inside of the rock.
So far in this end, Colleen does look like she has the advantage right now. Line 2, although Ladouceur does have the hammer. Looks like she's making a play on the top one here, trying to run that yellow back and get in a better spot to maybe score her deuce.
I'm a little bit surprised that Colleen didn't come around those centermost stones. Do you have any opinion on that?
I think, again, just trying to set stones. Maybe if Isabel's team is able to make this run by grouping them in the 4 foot, does allow for maybe a run double as opposed to just the run back they're trying right here. And if they were to make that, that takes away your end completely.
That's a very good shot. Stuck her shooter in the house.
And groups those stones over on the side of the 12 foot.
Does bring a jam into play here on this hit. If Team Pinkney's stone over curls at all, she might catch that back blue. Looks like Bridget's a little bit wide on this one. They have that inside sweeper, make the rock curl there.
Just doesn't get enough of it. It just kind of pushes it over to the other side of the house. That's kind of what Ladouceur's team off the hook here a bit.
Yep, the tables have turned a bit once again.
If they're able to split the host here, it's going to be very hard for Colleen to make any type of double. So I think you'll see some freezes.
Just as we said Colleen had the advantage, that flipped almost instantly. And that's curling for you. So Isabel's just going to be trying to outcount that blue stone, and it looks like she does get close enough. Colleen may have an option here to hit that top stone that Ladouceur just threw and try to roll towards the yellow in the back of the house.
This is one of the few situations where I think Isabel would have liked that back, maybe even just behind the tee line. Would have left Colleen with a freeze. This is so high in the host. She has the whole host to roll across to get over and take away that second yellow. Bridget McPhail lining this one up.
This is her second stone of the fifth end. Just trying to hit and roll across the house. Sweepers aren't touching it.
She does look a little wide again.
Trying to make it curl here at the end to try to catch it. She will remove that stone, but unfortunately she will not stay in the house. So Isabel's going to have a chance here to try to make that freeze a little bit better this time. This is Kate Callahan here with her second stone in the fifth end. The sweepers like it. And they're backing up a bit now. They're signaling that it might be a little bit heavy. It's not quite curling like they hoped. So Colleen's going to have a chance to sweep this one through the house. It's definitely a bit of a missed opportunity here for Team Ladouceur.
Kate won't be happy with that. She pulled up a little bit short on her first and just a little bit too much of a correction second, just sliding past that blue stone.
It's very easy to do.
Especially on fast ice.
Yeah, definitely. Colleen's going to have an opportunity here to throw a lightweight hit and try to remove that yellow stone. I think I did see her tap the hack with her broom, which indicates that she wants Mary to throw just enough weight to stop at the hack.
And they're on
Sweepers
this right
are
away.
on this early. Looks like we might be over curling. We are on the front, so just trading missed opportunities
We're
here
drawing
in
the
the fifth
50-50
end.
ticket number now, and we'll let you know in one moment.
We're here at the Dartmouth Curling Club. That could be you winning the 50-50 right now. $5 per draw. We're here at the Nova Scotia Women's Provincial Curling Championship, sponsored by Scotties
On Bell 5 TV1.
on Bell 5 TV1.
The last three numbers are 5-3. 1-5-3. Might be downstairs.
This is Isabel's first shot of the end. She's going to be attempting to double these stones out, and it is a pretty natural double. It's just really a nose hit is all it will take to remove both of those blue stones. She'll be throwing a little bit of weight at this, I imagine. Very close. Ooh, and she will just catch too much of that back one. So another opportunity here for Team Pinkney. Team Pinkney is very fortunate there that their blue stone stuck around to sit second shot. Gives them a little bit of breathing room here with this, and hopefully they can sit two.
It does look like they have a little bit of a conversation going on about where they want to place this next stone or what they want to do with it. Calling it originally to hitting the one on the far side. Why do you think they would change that and come across and hit the one that was just thrown?
Well, I think that you want to remove shot stone and sit two. I also heard Mary Driscoll say that Bridget just threw this, which is a huge advantage. They know this spot on the ice. They see how it runs. So as long as she can throw it well, they should have a good idea of how. She's really close here. She just has to be careful not to catch that back blue. She's going to want to roll across the house. And that's a peach.
Very nice shot. It does only leave Isabel with a draw to the full 8 foot to pick up her single here.
Here's Isabelle Ladouceur with her final stone of the 5th end. She's 8 foot, full 8 foot against 2. Sweepers are on it early. Heads down. Can they get it there? They need full 8 foot. Doesn't look like it's going to make it. She comes up light of the house. That's going to be a steal of 2 for Team Pinkney in the 5th end.
So with that, Pinkney does go up the 2, so it's going to be 4-2 Pinkney heading into the 6th. And we'll be back momentarily there after the 5th end break. And welcome back to Draw 4 of the 2018 Scotties Women's Provincial Curling Championships here at the Dartmouth Curling Club. Instead, sponsored by Scotties with our partner 5TV1. Looks like the teams are back on the ice here now after the fifth end break, so we'll get right back into the action here shortly. Colleen Pinkney's team did pick up a steal of 2 in the fifth end, so Isabelle Ladouceur will have hammer here in the sixth end. Going to get those points back.
Just to give you a few updates on what's going on the other sheets tonight. On sheet B, Team Arsenault is up 2 on Team Jones. The score there is 5-3, and Team Jones has the hammer. On sheet D, McDermott scored a big 4 in the fourth end. McAvoy did respond with a 2 in the fifth, so McDermott is up 5-3 with hammer in the sixth end over there. And on sheet E, Joe Brothers is up 5-3, and Team Breen has hammer over there. So the score is 5-3 on every other sheet. So that's kind of fun. And we do have a correction here for you. I earlier said that we had Kate Callahan throwing third for Isabelle Ladouceur, but it's actually Emily Prue playing third. Kate Callahan is not here tonight, so I apologize for not knowing that earlier.
Passing on the misinformation that was given to us.
Yes. Yes.
Pass that blame.
Yeah. Got a pretty standard end so far here. Isabelle elected to put up that corner guard, which is pretty typical when you're down with hammer.
Now with Colleen's second here, she's trying to. Would you say she's trying to tap up the stone that's sitting there on the 8 foot, or would you be trying to guard this?
It's a matter of preference, I say. I might elect to... It really depends. If you tap it, you're going to leave them a double, and you might even leave them a double and roll behind that corner guard. Right now, if you put up that guard, we're still on lead stone, so you're not allowed to remove that yet. So this is Michaela Harnish on trying to come around this corner guard. Didn't quite curl as much as they hoped, so I believe that'll be about half open. I think Colleen's going to attempt to remove this. She can only see about half of it, but as long as they throw the right weight, a down weight shot, they should be able to get enough of it to remove it from the house and stick around.
I think you saw her also pointing up to that guard, so a good plan B here, if you do over curl a touch, is to take off that corner.
Looks like we're missing a sweeper here too on Team Pinkney.
I can see Mary out there.
No, I'm not quite sure what happened there, but hopefully she'll be right back.
Team Ladouceur will be trying to put that guard back up where it was, make it a little bit nicer, cover more of the yellow that's sitting at the top of the 8 foot.
that did come a little bit deeper than they hoped. There's only about separation between those stones, so if Pinkney did want to remove both of them, it's not too difficult of a double. I think right now she's still going to want to just hit one and roll towards the center of the rings.
Scotties does look like she's going after the one in the house again.
I think so too. I heard her call board weight. This one looks to be really taking off on them. Seems to curl a lot more towards the edge of the sheet than it does coming back to the center. And it seems like both teams have gotten caught on that a few times. But that's still a good result. They will leave that Ladouceur stone sitting second shot, but they're starting to build up quite a lot of stones on the center line.
Another attempt here, putting that guard back up. They'd like this to be a little bit higher to, again, get some separation between those two yellow stones and make it a little bit harder for Colleen to access it.
Isabel's jumping up, sweep this one. That will cover the stone in the house enough. It is about half open on the other side. But Colleen has her stones on the center line in such good position. I think that she'll just elect to peel that guard and try to take away opportunities for multiple points from Isabel.
They just saw Colleen jump from one side of the stone to the other, take the other turn. She's just trying to avoid a jam back onto the stones in the center line there, Liz.
Yeah, if you throw it the out-turn side coming from the edge of the sheet, and you hit a little bit more of that stone than you intended to, you might redirect that back. Might redirect that back into your own stones. So obviously the call there was not hit anything in the house. They were just trying to get rid of that guard, and she just didn't quite get it to curl enough there. So that changes things a bit. Isabel is now shot stone behind a corner guard. Looks like she's electing to just sink another one, sit on top of her stone, which I do believe she sits right on the nose of that yellow that she would be sitting to, but oh, it's close. I think you have to get a bit to the inside of it to sit to.
She may just be playing some form of a setup shot where that blue is wide open. She may feel like she's going to have another shot at that a little bit later on, so get another one in the house and try to get Colleen to maybe come after the two that are there at the top of the.
You really got to get this into the rings, though, and it will. So Colleen doesn't really have too many other options here other than peeling this guard, especially being up two. Play some more defensive shots. This is Bridget McPhail with her second stone of the end. Oh. So, wow. She was trying the peel there, I believe. She was,
yeah.
Wide on the peel and ended up getting probably a better result than what she was after. That can be a little bit frustrating for the other team to be on the receiving end of a miss that ends up being great. But anyone who curls knows that it happens
Goes both
quite a
ways.
bit, and it goes both ways.
Yeah.
I think we've all been on both ends of those.
Absolutely. I call those an I'm sorry moment, or an oops
Oh yeah.
moment.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Normally look at the other team, oops,
Yeah.
but inside you're still
Sorry
smiling.
about that. Yeah. Oh, you're smiling for sure, but definitely a courtesy apology sometimes, especially in a big game. This is Mary Driscoll's first stone at the end. She's trying to remove that Ladouceur stone from the house so they can sit 3 and put some pressure on. Sit 2, sorry. I don't think that one on the edge is in, and that one's also not in because they nosed it. So they're actually just sitting 1.
Isabel with a fairly aggressive call here where
Yeah.
that blue stone is just at the top of the 12 foot, just barely biting. She is going to elect to draw all the way around here, get something buried that may not be accessible for the Pinkney team on their next one. I like this call where she's down 2 here. It's still early in the second half of the game.
Yeah, this is a big opportunity for what we call a skipper's deuce. So that's when both skip stones end up being the counters. She can sink 2 around these guards and she'll be good to go. Sweepers seem to think this might be a little hot. They're on it now, though. It really seems to be coming off. Really pounding this one, and they are going to get it to the 8 foot. It is going to be wide open, though.
Oh, it's about half open, a little bit more than
Right.
half. And coming from the hack end of the ice, from where they're throwing, you may see a little bit less of that than you think, just because of the angle it's lined with.
Colleen does have the option to use her blue stone here in front of the house and redirect that onto the yellow. It's angled quite nicely, and there's not a lot of space in between those stones, so even if she doesn't stick her blue, she should be able to quite easily remove that yellow as long as she hits what she can see.
If she hits this perfectly, the shooter should roll into the host as well, so
Yeah.
if this is made perfectly, she will be lying 2 after this shot.
I think Isabel's team may have just been caught out a little bit further to the wings, as we were speaking about earlier. Might be a little bit slower out there. A little more weight here on this shot than we've seen. This is very close. That's another peach from Mary Driscoll. She's now sitting 2, so Isabel is going to have to draw to the 8 foot once again. And she is going to be drawing quite far out towards the boards. She does have the option to draw the intern side down the center line. She must just not
Maybe-
like that path.
Maybe where she just threw this, she feels a little bit more confident. She did come up. Her weight was actually pretty good to get to full 8 foot, so
Yeah.
it's really just throwing the same shot. Her sweepers have seen it as well.
Sweepers are really going hard on this. They really got to go, I think. And she'll get it. That's a great sweep, great judge.
Very good sweep. Those sweepers knew right out of her hand that they
Yeah.
were going to have to go on that.
So that's Isabel scoring 1 there, so she'll be down 4-3 to Colleen Pinkney. And the hammer will go back to Colleen. We're going into the 7th end here, though, so Isabel will get the hammer back in 8 and hopefully in 10.
I think you're going to see from Isabel's team here in this end, center guards going up. They're going to be trying to force Colleen to either take one or go for that steal, get back on even playing field here moving into the 8th. All the other games are just about to complete their 6th end, so once the scores are posted here for us, we'll put you on the action that's on the... Oh, sorry.
On sheet T, I was just going to say. McDermott here has a draw to the 8-foot for 3.
I believe it's for 4.
Oh, is it? Oh, it is for 4. Yeah, and it looks perfect. Perfect button weight. So that's another second 4 of the game for Team McDermott. They're going to go up 9-3 on Julie McAvoy.
So on our sheet, that first center guard was put up there nicely by Team Ladouceur. Team Pinkney is trying to come around that now, so does look like it is over curling, a little bit light. So if you're Colleen, you're probably not very happy with that. You're giving Isabel a second center guard to go around, and there is a little bit of stagger there. So advantage is definitely on Isabel's side right now, based on these first 2 stones at the end.
Yeah, one good shot here, and they're in position to steal. It's nice on this, and it's tight to the guard. It's curling nicely. This is going to be a very, very good stone.
Right at the top of the 4-foot, that's perfect.
So I think Colleen's just going to try to come into the house here and corner freeze that top 4-foot stone. There's a little bit of a discussion here, though. They're thinking about playing with those guards. They aren't allowed to remove them from play, though. They may have been discussing a tick shot. Do you want to explain to us what a tick shot is?
I can, yeah. So a lot of teams now where you're not able to remove the first 4 stones in play, especially if they're in the free guard zone, they do elect to play a softer weight and just try to move those guards out of the way. So they would try to essentially tick it off to the side and get it off the center line. And if you're the team with hand, ideally move it over a few feet and try to get a corner guard, if anything, out of it, so that you can use it as opposed to your opposition.
It is a pretty advanced shot, and that one is another that has really only come into play in the last few years. You don't see it used very often here in Nova Scotia.
No.
Especially on straight ice. That's a pretty tough shot. She did elect to try to come in and freeze that stone, but she was a little bit wide and just a little bit heavy, so she rolled off and it will be open. So Ladouceur will have a chance here to hit that stone and roll in towards the center and sit 2 behind guards above the tee line. And this would be a very good position for her. Doesn't look like it's going to curl enough, so she will roll away. She does leave a double here on those 2 yellow stones. Looks like Colleen's going to attempt the double peel instead, though.
If she hits this right, she may send that yellow stone back into the house at the one in the 4-foot.
Yeah, I like this call. You definitely just want to open it up for yourself. You're up 1. As long as you can score 1 here and keep hammer in the even ends, I think you'll be in good shape. This is Caitlin Beach with her second stone. Ooh. Catch that. Rock in the forefoot. But she does leave 2 center guards up, unfortunately. They are blue in color now.
That would really be the only positive to that shot.
Yeah.
When it comes to being yellow, to being really the rock on the top of the forefoot was just replaced. So let's give her a chance to put up another guard here and protect that stone.
Luckily for Team Pinkney, it is a little bit more open. So she does have to make this guard or else they will have a chance to hit it. Sweepers are signaling that it's a little bit up in weight. Looks to be coming into the house, maybe right back to that top 4-foot yellow stone. Oh,
it does die. Very good line on that shot, just a little bit deeper than I think they were hoping for.
Colleen has a choice here if she wants to try to use that yellow stone to double off the stone in the forefoot, or if she's going to attempt this double blue run. I think she is trying to get at least one of the stones in the house here. So this is a double angle run, not an easy shot.
I think the big goal for her here is get this open.
Yeah.
She does have hammer. Where this is still her second throwing. There are still 4 stones left to come for her in this end. So
looks like she's just going to peel that top stone off.
which is still better than it was for her.
Definitely.
There's now no overlap with those guards, so if need be, it can be promoted back into the house.
Isabel's just going to try to sink another one behind that center line blue. Seems we've been really going back and forth in this game with advantage here. Seems at any point one team or the other is sitting 3 stones. We haven't had any huge ends though.
Well, Liz had updated us sheet D there with Team McDermott picking up another 4. On sheet E, Teresa Breen did pick up a big 2 points in the 6th end, evening that game out at 5 against Jill Brothers. So they're even after the 6th end. Jill Brothers does have hammer in 7. And on sheet B over here, it just looked like Marianne Arsenault's team picked up a steal in the 6th end of 1. So they've increased their lead to 6-3 over the Colleen Jones squad. And Colleen does have hammer now in the 7th end as well.
Bridget McPhail with her first stone. Trying to double these yellows off. Sweepers are really going hard on this. Oh, just misses that top 4 stone. Gets the one in the back 8. I thought they were trying to catch that top 4 rock, were they not?
I thought so too. It looks like it was just overswept.
Yeah, they swept that the whole way and it seemed like it needed to curl just a touch more. Isabel's just going to try to block that stone top 4 foot again.
Try to make this a little bit better, a little bit higher than the one that was there previously. I'm
sweeping this to try to drag it a little further and make it curl. That's a good guard. There's no hole there for Colleen Pinkney's team to access that yellow stone. I think she's going to have to decide if she wants to try to run that blue stone in as she's signaling there with her broom, or if she wants to try to play a hit and roll on the yellow on the side of the 8-foot. I don't mind the hit and roll myself, but
It's getting really late in the end
is.
for a run like this. If you don't make this, give Isabel the chance to gather around that yellow guard that's sitting there. Or to put another guard back up and put it in a better spot that's going to take away your draw path.
with the hit and roll, there's the 2 guards up, so you have quite a distance you can roll and a bit of margin for error there. Go too far, you're still going to be behind that yellow guard.
Now on the flip side, if this is made,
Oh yeah, they'll be in great position.
they'll be in a very good spot.
She seems to be trying to put this into the rocks on the 8-foot. Oof.
Just missed. For Colleen, it is open now. Just that one yellow guard really causing her some issues. But I do think to replace the guard that was there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say Isabel's licking her lips right now, loving this end. This is just about as good of a position as you can be in.
For Colleen, you're trying to figure out what happened in this end to be chasing like this.
Colleen will at least she does have something available to her at all times. She's going to have the draw to the 4-foot on the intern side no matter what.
Can't take away every path in for her.
No, and she will have some sort
She'll
of
have the
hit
hit and
on
roll
those,
as well.
yeah. It looks like where they're putting this stone. This is Isabel's first stone, I believe.
It is, yeah.
That stone top 4 is accessible now for Colleen's team, so
Don't really think that guard's doing a
I
whole
saw-
lot for them.
I saw them tapping the top 8-foot, so I think that they wanted for that to come in.
Oh, okay.
I don't
That would
think,
make a lot more
yeah.
sense. Leaving that is not.
I think they were trying to have, I think the line was good, it just didn't quite come as deep as they wanted. They wanted to sit 4. Yeah, because really none of those stones are in the house currently are easily doubleable. It's a bit of a mouthful, doubleable.
We've seen Mary throw a few in this spot already.
This is across the center line, and these can sometimes catch on you and curl a little bit more than expected. Yep, and it's just bending on them.
On it right away.
Ooh, and they are going to catch that guard. Oof.
Just got caught in that spot. It comes off the center line so hard there.
Yeah, you can get caught there for sure. Luckily, they do have hammer, and as we were saying before, Isabel can't do anything with this stone. She is going to have some sort of hit and roll if she wants to play that, or a draw if that's what she prefer also.
We just heard Isabel say a 3 is fine, so main concern right now is just guarding that stone that's at the top of the 4-foot. I think they're okay leaving Colleen the hit and roll.
Here's Isabel Ladouceur with her final stone of the 7th end. It's a bit wide, so they're going to try to wick off their yellow there and roll it in front. Yeah, they definitely took away the hit and roll on that side. So Mary's going to have to hit this yellow and roll to be full 4 foot to outcount Isabel Stone. Mary Driscoll with her final stone. Off this.
This looks like it's hanging out for them, so.
I think it's really close. Ooh. So she will give up a steal of 1 here. We're all tied up after 7. Looks like our game on sheet D is over. McAvoy was only able to score 1 in the 7th end. So McDermott will improve. No. I believe they're all alone at the top of the standings of the women's side.
They're the only undefeated team left here on our women's side.
So this is Elsa Knox here with the first stone of the 8th end. I imagine Isabel is going to maybe go hard for a steal here. She definitely wants to keep Hammer in the even ends right now, being a tie game in the game. She wants to have a Hammer advantage over Pinkney. So if she can steal 1 here, she would be giving Pinkney Hammer in the 9th, and she would retain Hammer in the final end of the game.
I think that may also be why she put it in the house. Not necessarily to force that steal, but at that point, maybe get the blank. Another alternative to keeping Colleen with the Hammer into the 9th. And
it's a big miss there from Colleen Pinkney. Little light there, didn't get that stone over the hog. Comes out of play. I think Isabel was just trying to tap that one straight back. It was a little wide, but she did make some contact and end up sticking in the rings.
It's now the choice for Team Pinkney. They could put up another corner. They can also chase that stone into the house and play a freeze. I think that's what they've elected to do. Let's come down to that back Ladouceur stone.
Yeah, Pinkney's going to go hard to score 2 here. They would love to score 2 at the end. That gives them a real advantage here at the end of the game. She comes up a little light on that one. Might be a bit of an indication that the ice is slowing down, which often happens near the end of a game.
They also may need to keep the fact that sheet D is now empty next to them on that side.
Yeah.
So at any point when teams are leaving the ice, temperature in the ice shed changes, and it can affect the ice, the speed, and the curl. So something for us to keep in mind, as well as the players moving into the rest of the 8th, 9th, and 10th end.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're calling a timeout here. First time out of the game. What do you think the odds are here?
For which team?
I think Ladouceur called the timeout, I believe.
For Ladouceur, I think the conversation they're having is centered around, are we trying to force or do we want to go for a steal here? They're just lying the 1, but they do have the option of Bluestone, lie 3, and then force Colleen to chase. They do also have the option of just guarding the one that's at the top 12 and
You could also tap that one top 12.
Or tap.
They can tap that straight back to the forefoot. They'd be sitting 2.
The big conversation here is what you want out of this end.
The problem with that tap is if you're even slightly deep, that blue Pinkney stone is positioned really nicely for an in-off, if it ever came down to that. I think I would be really going for the steal here. I would want to keep Hammer in the even ends.
I wouldn't want to give Colleen a chance to get out of this end, especially the way it's shaping up already.
Yeah. You can hit that stone, sit 3, hopefully give Mary Driscoll a shot against a lot. Hope she misses, and worst case, you give up 1.
Yeah.
But it's still very early in this end, and things can change quickly.
It's under broom position. I think she's playing a draw, so either a draw in behind the yellow, try to sit top 4.
Yeah. Never guard that stone.
I don't either now.
It's not.
Well,
a
it is a
good
lot
enough
of
stone.
ice.
It's I think that's too much ice for the guard as well. They're definitely going around.
Based on the speed of this, I think they are actually throwing the guard.
It is interesting.
But their goal is steal, so
Yeah,
the best way to do that is a center guard.
Even if Colleen removes this stone, they can position a rock behind that newly thrown center guard even better. Since that stone is only top 12, it probably wasn't going to be a scoring stone anyways. This one's looking a little bit
It's very wide.
Made contact with the stone, so that center guard is looking great now.
It's a big miss for Caitlin.
Yeah.
Gives Isabel the chance to bury another one around there and get it in a perfect spot.
I'm noticing it's been a lot of wide today, and I think it's just the way that the ice is. If you give it any sort of pop on your release, it's not going to come back.
When you say pop, Liz, what are you referring to?
It's a bit of just a motion when you're releasing the stone, a bit of an outward motion with your hand. And so you're just starting the rock off with a tiny bit of outward motion, and on straight ice, it just won't catch the curl early enough, and you're going to miss a lot. And the reason I know about this is because I pop my stones and miss a lot on straight ice. I'm just being real with you guys.
The crowd out here getting a little chuckle at Liz, giving away her secrets.
I'm just trying to mislead people. So Caitlin's going to have another opportunity here. to throw this double, make up for her last stone. This one's taking off on them, though. Closer to the center line, maybe. Or maybe just a bit of... But she will peel that stone out, and things are going to be opened up for Colleen. So not a bad result.
It's a good alternative for sure. Again, just to keep everybody updated on what's going on the other sheets. In the 7th end, Colleen Jones did take a single point, so Marianne Arsenault is up 2 in the 8th end with hammer, currently leading 6-4. And on sheet E, Jill Brothers did manage to take a point in the 7th end. She does have a slight lead over Teresa Breen, 6-5 now with Breen in the 8th end there.
It's another great game going on sheet E against two of the probably two teams that are maybe considered some of the favorites at this event. So we'll get another center guard there, but they're not going to block the higher stone. So Team Pinkney is going to have another crack at this double. This is Bridget's first stone in the 8th end. She's going to be throwing a bit of weight at this, I imagine.
Yeah, she definitely is.
Sweepers are really going on it.
And that's the spot again that took off on Caitlin.
Oh, she will catch it. It's a great shot. Getting her team out of a bit of trouble. They are only sitting 2nd and 3rd shot right now, but things are looking a lot better.
And lucky for them, the shot stone is behind the tee line. So if this slides deep at all, she'll have some sort of a play there, either a freeze or that yellow stone that's at the back of the house is almost fully open as well. Line looks pretty good here. It's all going to be for weight.
Don't think they're going to quite get it there. They seem to like it out of her hand. Might have just got fooled a bit on that spot. Seems to be curling a bit more.
Another indication that the ice may be changing here, getting into the later ends.
Colleen's, she's got options here, and there's a bit of a discussion going on between her team. They do have the option of going after shot stone. And it is almost wide open. It's about edge to edge. But that's not, you'd have to throw a lot of weight at that based on how much it curls coming from the center line. And I heard Colleen tell her team, this is what's hurting us, referring to those center line stones.
And I think the big thing for her right now is that they are overlapped. She can't even, if Ladouceur is able to sink one in behind them, there's no run back with those.
Yeah, that's right. I definitely agree with Colleen here. It's tempting. It's always tempting to go after shot stone, but
looks like the team may not be fully on board with this.
No.
They're call their timeout, come down and talk about it. I think I heard Mary just say she agrees that that's what hurts them. She just doesn't quite understand how to go about removing those.
I think Mary might be a little bit worried about where these go if you remove both of them. I think she's worried about jam possibilities, perhaps. So they're talking about trying to just sink one behind these guards and to get in there first, which is an interesting call. Pretty aggressive.
I mean, at this point, I don't think a blank end's an option.
No.
So for if you're Colleen, you want to score here, and you're ideally going to go after your 2. So I think the mindset of the rest of the team is the best way to do that is to get something big. They are currently only lying second and third shot.
And it is nice that if they can get a bundle in there and keep that shot stone accessible, they might have a shot for quite a few points. All it takes is one miss from Team Ladouceur for them.
I like this call. It's aggressive.
Yeah, I do too. This is Bridget McPhail with her second stone. Just trying to come around the center guard, sit top 4. I'm hearing you saying line's tight. Sweepers seem to like the weight though. Weight's really coming off of it. I think that
both teams are just getting stuck in that spot.
Yeah.
The Sweepers definitely seem to like it, and you could hear Colleen about halfway down saying, I think you need it.
Shoot, that's a tough one for Team Pinkney.
Ladouceur, that stone did make it to the ring, so if you're not able to make this shot perfectly, there could be a shot at that back yellow, the shot stone, for Colleen to lie 4. So you need to be very careful with this shot.
Yeah, they need to get in there. Luckily, the way that those guards are staggered, or Christmas treed, as we sometimes. None of them can easily be run straight back into the house. So if they can get anything in here, it's going to be hard to remove. Definitely doesn't look like it's curling. I think just that path out wide doesn't quite curl the same. She might be leaving a double here.
I do think a piece of it got behind that guard.
Yeah,
so
I think it did come up enough.
Make any play at this, it's going to have to be a lightweight hit or a tap.
You can see Colleen with that broom motion, signaling, I think, for back 12 backline weight. So this is going to be a very touchy shot here for Mary's first. It's in really good position here if they can make a couple shots.
It would say 8-9, which is
just about what
post.
she called.
Yeah.
Seem to be calling Wolf for line. That's not a bad result at all. She's definitely, like we were saying earlier, Isabel has got to get something in there, really in the 8-foot, or Mary will have a shot for 2 using that stone. Mary also has the option. She really has 2 options on that side for a raise.
She does, and they're not overly difficult. There's not a lot of distance between those blue stones and the yellow at the back of the house.
It is a risk, though, in the 8th end. It's hard to resist a shot for a lot, though. We'll see where Isabel puts this. Just hoping to be top 4 behind these center guards. That seems to be another spot. They're really getting caught there. It's not curling.
It looks like a little bit more weight than what she threw on her last one as well.
Ooh, and she's going to make that shot.
That didn't end the spot. It does leave a double if Colleen wants to take it on.
Ooh, no way. If you miss that double, though, you give up. There is a chance to give up 2 if you miss that double. Ooh, are they going to go?
Play it airing on the inside.
Totally.
Because even if you just pick that yellow out, you still score.
Huge risk-reward shot here. It would be incredibly tempting, though. What are we talking here? 5? 5
It
if
would
you
be
make
for
that.
5.
That's
if
a
you
game
stick your
ender.
shooter.
Seems
you
like a
do
type of shot I would want to play, but
I would too. If you err on the inside here, even if you do just pick out that yellow.
I have a feeling my team wouldn't want me to throw it, though.
Because of that pop release you were talking about earlier.
Mary's the thrower, and she wants to throw this double, and you got to give the last rock thrower what they want. You got to let her throw what she's confident in. So here we go. Big shot.
Colleen's still not on board with this.
No.
She's very worried about that jam.
Yeah, and I completely understand what she's thinking here, but I don't think you want to over talk about this, though. I think you guys have to make a decision here. They have lots of time, but it seems to be just a matter of preference. Mary's out there. Mary wants to throw it.
This is every last rock thrower's dream. Make
Yeah.
the shot and take the 5.
Sweet double for 5. Let's do it.
Colleen into it.
Yep. Exciting stuff here, folks. Mary Driscoll, final shot in the 8th end, a double for 5. Sweepers on it early. This has got to be close.
It needs to come up just a little bit for them.
She still gets 2.
She does still get 2.
She does get
so
2. So that's
good result for
She was-
Team Pinkney.
She was very close to making that, and a 2 is a 2.
You can all see Colleen Pinkney breathing a sigh of
Yeah.
relief there.
Yeah.
That's the experience that she has. And it does also speak to Mary's skill as well. I know Mary skipped for many, many years through juniors and
Yeah.
through the Canada Games and things like that. And if that's what you're comfortable throwing, sometimes as the person holding the broom, you need to give that thrower
Yeah.
a little bit
yeah.
of control they're left with, especially if as a skip who's throwing lead.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of situations where there may be a right and wrong call, but if you don't make the right call, then it doesn't really matter which shot you're throwing.
Or even a situation where there's multiple right calls.
Yeah. Which I think was that
Absolutely.
situation.
So
Anyhow, it's a little tough to it's a little tough to come out of that with only a 2, but you can definitely not be sad about it.
No. So with that, Colleen Pinkney does a 6-4 lead into the 9th end here. Isabel Ladouceur will have last rock.
A 2 in the 8th end is huge, because even if you give up a 2 here in 9 to Isabel Ladouceur, you're still going to have the hammer coming home tied. You only need 1 when you're tied in the final end to win. Even in this situation for Pinkney, if Ladouceur ends up with a blank here, they still have to score 2 in the 10th just to tie the game, in which case we'd go to an extra end to have the hammer again. So they're definitely at a big advantage.
before we get too deep into this end, some score updates from the other two games that are still on the ice. So over on sheet E,
Big steal of 2 for Brothers in the 8th end.
Teresa had a very tough shot on her last. Brothers was lying 3, all above the tee line around the 4-foot.
Oof.
And Teresa just wasn't able to make a double or to get in there to limit. So
Skip's worst nightmare.
absolutely. So Brothers did take a steal of 2 in the 8th, leading 8-5 into the 9th. Breen does have last rock there. And on sheet B, Colleen Jones is in a little bit of trouble. She did give up another steal of 1 to Marianne Arsenault, so she's currently down 7-4 with hammer in the 8th. In the 9th.
So I heard Isabel just ask if her team wants to try for a blank. I think they're electing to just come around the corner guard, though.
I think so too. You've put that corner there for a reason.
I think I would absolutely rather score 2 here than blank, because then you either have to or you just need to score 2 and then steal in the extra anyway, which is the exact position that you're in right now.
You go after your 2 now.
Yeah.
You at least have 2 chances to get that score.
Yeah. You go hard for a steal in the 10th. I find the 10th end tied is a totally... When both teams know that they only need to score 1 point, the strategy can definitely change.
And the pressure does build as well in the 10th also.
Oh, yeah.
So we're able to get that stone about half buried in behind that yellow guard. Colleen is going to come after it.
This is Caitlin here. She is going to get that stone. And she will roll. I don't think she's going to stick in the house. Nope, doesn't stick, but still in great position here. So I imagine Isabel will just try to go right back behind that guard. Hopefully position it a little bit better, be a little bit more buried this time.
Line on this looks a little bit better, so they may be able to finish it a touch at the end and get it back.
Ooh. That was just about as close to that guard as you can get. And it's perfectly buried. That was a great shot.
Just as an aside there, we saw Colleen Pinkney raise her broom as that was coming down the ice. It's almost like a very nice shot to the Ladouceur team. It's a sign that Colleen's been around a while. She knows when a nice shot's been made and she's willing to.
Here's Caitlin just trying to peel out this guard.
Actually playing the run.
I'm gonna get that one in the house the other way, so that was a nice. I think they may have called the peel on that, but that's the run back's always a good plan B on a peel, especially when you make it. Isabel still does have a corner guard here to work with. It is no longer yellow in color, but she will take what she can get, I guess.
Third attempt there, trying to get him behind this guard again.
Sweepers are calling 6, so that should be just T-line, and this one's going to over-curl on them. Not the end of the world, though.
Nope, does still leave them guards to go around.
Colleen's got some options here. I think you want to keep your play around those centers, or even another. Would another guard be that crazy?
I think the only downside to another guard is if Isabel does get one in there nicely.
Space, yeah.
Because that blue stone is only full 8.
Yeah, if that was top 4, it would be a better option maybe, but
yeah.
You're right.
I think this one, they're just trying to get it in a spot that takes away the draw path and behind those corners for the Ladouceur team.
See Caitlin motioning that she thinks this one is a bit hot coming down the sheet. They might get a tap out of it.
Yeah.
I think they've got to go to make contact. Okay. So that up a little bit deeper than they wanted, but the line was pretty good. Isabel will have a chance to come down to that stone now. Luckily, it is above the tee line.
It looks like she's playing a freeze here. Would you also maybe play the hit and roll behind this?
Yeah, that's what my thought was. I think that looks like she might just be trying to tap it back a touch. She just needs to push it back 2 feet, and then she would be shot. And she's got it. That's a good stone. It is about 2/3 open, but definitely a bit risky. It's really nice that she tapped that back to back 12. She's just keeping that scoring area open for herself on her last stones. It's Bridget McPhail's second stone in the 9th end here. Got a bit of a port to navigate here.
Looks like it needs to come back for a bit. She might be on that outside guard.
She might get her own. Nope. So just once again a little bit wide on those heavier shots. She did stick around in the side of the rings. And if Isabel's team has to really guard that yellow stone, because it's looking quite lonely among a lot of blues in the house.
To keep everybody up to speed with the one of the other games, Colleen Jones did give up another steal of 1 in the 9th end, so they're down 8-4 here in the 10th end, trying desperately to get something going to get a big score and stay in the.
And actually,
does look
just shaking hands now. So
it does look like the Arsenault team has run Colleen Jones and her crew out of stone. So we'll go as an 8-4 victory for Marianne here tonight.
So I believe that improves Marianne Arsenault's rank to 3-1, and Colleen Jones will fall to 2-2. Both teams very much still in the mix, though. Are they trying their run back here?
I think they're just trying the angle onto the one that was just. No, they're trying the run. They may get the angle.
Yep, I think it's a good plan B. Yeah. Or both. No, not quite. Definitely a
Very
good
good
result,
result.
though. Yeah, she's frozen on that stone on the forefoot. So that's going to be very difficult to remove with one stone.
And she has also second, third, and fourth shot.
Yeah, Isabel is under a lot of pressure right now. Isabel also has to think about how small the scoring area is with that top 4 blue. She has full 4 foot just to get 2 here.
I think ideally on this one, she needs to release that yellow stone. Just for like a back 4, back 8 weight and help keep her angles.
Yep, she wants to be on the center line side of that blue, for sure.
If they don't release that back stone, Colleen may have some type of a double to remove those and keep her blue one in place.
Really good to get it covering that blue.
I feel like they guarded the wrong side of that.
Yeah, they did. So they do have, you heard Mary say she's got half of it. So with a board weight shot, they should come up nicely and remove that from the house. This is Mary Driscoll with her last shot in the 9th end. Looks to be a little bit wide, though. I think she's going to catch a little bit of it. That's a big miss for Mary Driscoll. That's very unfortunate. If she had made any contact with that stone, she could have been sitting 4. So she's not going to be happy with that miss.
Now this draw for Isabel is not a gimme by any means.
No.
She does need to be full 4 foot to score her second point.
I think the way this was looking, she's going to be happy with one as well.
Absolutely.
She does have a good opportunity here, though. This is what skips get paid to do. Draw the 4 foot.
I didn't know we were supposed to get paid.
Sweepers think it's close, but they're backing off a bit now. And I think it's going to run a little bit deep here.
So too.
Yeah.
It's a missed opportunity there for Isabel. She's not going to be happy with that. But she does pick up her single point, so she is only down 1 in the 10th. Now she does not have hammer, so you're going to see them go hard for a steal here.
Likely see them put up 2 center guards. Ideally, you'd have 1 tight guard and 1 very long guard. Like a double peel.
And
difficult.
Assuming those guards are made, this may be a situation where we see one of those tick shots attempted by the Pinkney team.
Yeah, absolutely. Had a nice close game here tonight, though.
Do you have another final on sheet E? I'm not really sure what happened in that last end, but it does look like Teresa Breen has conceded the game. So Jill Brothers does pick up another big win here. I believe that puts them at 3-1 as well.
Yeah. I think that drops Team Breen down to 1-3.
It's not really the start they were looking for.
No.
They're one of the more senior teams here. We've been playing together for a little while, and they were one of the favorites coming into this.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like we said earlier, 3 losses definitely doesn't put you out, but I don't think you can afford another, so they're going to be on the hot seat for the rest of the event. They are attempting the tick shot here. And it looks to be pretty good. You'll see
Very,
Isabel.
very close.
Isabel's trying her hardest to get this out of play.
Oh, and she just managed to get it out.
Just got it out. That was a really, really, really good attempt by Colleen.
For anybody watching at home who doesn't curl, these shots are very, very difficult. You need to throw the perfect weight with the perfect line, and you throw a couple feet too much weight, and you see what happens there. Isabel was able to sweep that rock out and replace the guard to where it was originally.
This is a good opportunity here for Team Ladouceur.
The one thing to keep in mind with these guards is you want as much separation as possible. So that first guard wasn't quite as deep as what they were looking for. So even by putting this second guard a little bit higher, there's not a lot of separation between those two. So if the tick isn't made here on the Pinkney team's next rock, I think you'll see the peel start to happen, and where there isn't a whole lot of space between those with that bit of stagger, they may try the double peel right away.
Yeah, I think they might be trying to come in here. If they can get in there for a good top 4 stone, then Isabel will be chasing the rest of the end.
That's smart. They tried the tick once. Didn't work out for them. If they try the tick again and it doesn't work, then
they're in real
Isabel
trouble.
has 3 yellow stones in play where
Great weight on that. Didn't quite curl around that guard as much as they like, but it's definitely at least half buried, I would say. Yeah, there's a better view. So Isabel's just going to try to come in the other side and outcount that blue stone. Sweepers seem to think it might be a little bit down.
And this is the spot they a couple times and 2 ends ago, so
it's really curling.
They've seen this spot. They know the weight's gonna come off for them.
This is looking really nice if they can get it there, though. Oh, it's just gonna come up about an inch light. Still in good position, though.
It's in a very good spot for them.
This is Caitlin here with a double peel attempt. Just getting 1 stone would also be fine. And that looks like what they're going to get.
That's what they're going to do, yeah. Still all kinds of time in the end. If you're the Pinkney team, you don't need to push it too much.
I think I like her. She's motioning which side she wants her team to throw to. And I think you want to go there, the way that they're calling it. Just so that if you happen to corner freeze your own stone and make contact with either of them, you might catch that blue rock. Because you really only need to move that blue a couple inches to be shot stone.
If there's any bounce at all, it is just going to sort of spill the yellow that's in the host forward a little bit, which would give them that shot rock. Downside to this, if you are a little bit outside, could leave a double there for Colleen, so careful with where they place this rock.
Looks like she's going to come up a bit light here.
It's a good alternative where she is trying to steal here as well. There, you're in a good spot. Another nice peel.
Nice routine peel there by Caitlin. Isabel's going to just keep putting up guards here. And it looks like they're actually going to call a timeout. Did they
I
call
believe
it?
they did, yeah. Not a bad idea. It is their first time here at the Scotties, so get their coach out there, come up with a game plan for the last couple rocks in the end.
And it is the final end, and you might as well use it if you have it.
Absolutely. So while they are having their little debate there, it's good to note that this isn't the end of the line for the team that wins this event. So the winner of this tournament does actually qualify for the Scotties Tournament of Hearts coming up at the end of January, starting January 27th in Pennington, BC. So the winner of this will be representing Nova Scotia at that event. And likewise on the men's side, the Briars being held in March, I believe, this year. And that's in Regina, Saskatchewan. So both teams that qualify out of this event will be attending a national championship.
Yeah, big things on the line here. You'll see the team showing a lot of emotion out there. It's everybody's dream to go to the Scotties or the Briar.
Emotions run high, especially a little bit later on in the week when the playoff picture comes a little bit clearer.
Oh, yeah. Things get crazy. As we mentioned earlier, we are here at the Dartmouth Curling Club. So if you live in the area, you always have the option to come in and feel the atmosphere for yourself. Tickets are $5 per draw. I think $30 for an event pass, which is every draw, including the playoffs. It's fun times out here.
It is, and I do believe we have the option to go for preferred seating as well. So if you reserve seating specifically, so if you have a specific spot you want to sit, you can pay $10 more, $40 for the tournament pass, and it does give you the option to choose your seats. There are some actually out in the ice shed, so if you want to be close to the action, you have that option as well.
Yep, it's nice to sit out there too. You can hear
it's nice
the
and cool.
discussions. Yeah. So I think they decided to
play a tap.
Try to tap theirs up. They really only need to move it a couple. And if they can just tap it and flop on top of that blue. Oh, I don't know if they moved it enough. I think they did.
Like they did.
But it's very easy to remove is the problem. I think they were hoping to flop a little bit onto the corner of that blue.
The good thing for the Ladouceur team is the one they just threw is hard to remove. So although Colleen has an easy shot to get rid of the shot rock, the yellow that was just placed there will still be in play. So they may be able to try the same thing and get a little bit more separation on their next one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it looks like Bridget's a little bit wide on this. We'll see what kind of results she gets. So that's really not an awful result.
It's definitely not ideal, though.
No.
They left both those yellow stones in the rings.
Yeah, so I think Isabel is going to try to move that blue stone. If it were me, I think I'd be trying to remove that blue stone and flop at least half tucked behind that that yellow stone closest to the center top right.
I almost think I'd be more inclined to try a tap again. Tap that yellow
Tap
behind
on that
the guard
yellow, yeah.
and try to flop over in front of the blue. even if you just get corner frozen on the blue, at least you're
Yep.
you're still in front of it.
Yeah, I don't mind that shot at all.
Based on that, I think they have decided to hit it.
I think they called control up, so it's not a ton of weight, but on straight ice, you got to be careful. She looks close here. No, and it's just not quite curling like they were hoping. So Colleen does have an option here for a double.
Hear that little bit of discussion on what type of weight Colleen's looking for.
I don't think they're calling a ton on this. No, that does look like quite a bit of weight.
So it also does look like it's a touch wider than what they're looking for, but it is coming for them.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, she's able to remove both yellow. So Isabel will have to make a play on that because it is shot stone.
Coming up here on skip stones. She will be trying to flop behind that guard, I believe. And if she can continue to do that, Mary Driscoll's going to be feeling some pressure on her final stone. Just because Isabel has another counter back 12.
Absolutely, and like we've been chatting about the last couple ends with teams leaving the ice itself may be changing, so weight and line may be an issue, especially if you're drawing to the 4 foot come your last couple stones.
Yeah. I think she's going to try. Yeah, it looks like they're going to try the hit and roll on that top yellow and hopefully catch the back one. She just wants to take the pressure off on her final shot. If she can get both of these, even if Isabel can manage to get behind that guard, Mary would only be throwing against one. So worst case scenario, they'd go to a extra end.
It's Mary's first here in the 8th. They're in the 10th.
It's close. Off.
So close. Ooh. Did not miss that by much.
Guess they just had to let that go a little bit more, eh? There's a little disagreement on the line call between Colleen.
Yeah, when Colleen turned around, she had a big smile on her face, so.
So like we said, if Isabel just kind of has to get behind this guard and she will put a lot of pressure on Mary.
Able to get it fully buried in the 4 foot. It's going to drastically reduce the area that Mary has to draw to.
And if she were to really miss it, if she were to wreck on a guard or miss the house, she would lose the game because of Isabel's 2 counters. So this is a big shot.
I think the weight's pretty close.
You gotta be careful though. It's just, I think it's gonna be open for them though. Who are they gonna get that?
Oh they left it too
and they
long.
let it die. That is just late game ice getting you, I think. It's hard to trust sometimes in the late game that it's hard to trust that the ice has slowed down as much as it really has. I think everybody has been caught in situations like that before. So Mary will just have a draw here to the 8-foot game.
See a little conversation over which path they wanted to take. Colleen was trying to push for the other side. She thinks the pebble over there would be a little fresher. Last rock on its way in the 10th end here for
Sweepers on it right away.
Mary.
She's got 2 good sweepers though. Hopefully they can drag it there. Looks good. That was a great sweep there.
So with that, Pinkney does pick up the single point here in the 10th end.
Great game.
Very good game by both teams. 5 victory for Colleen Pinkney here. So on behalf of Liz and myself, thanks for bearing with
Thanks
us for this
tuning
game.
in.
And on behalf of Scotties and on 5 TV1, thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you in another game.
See you later. Have a good night.